Picture book, picture of your mother, and Nina with a shiner, and long time ago. Picture book. There was a days you beginning every podcast with a song or nonsense. Today, you're so organized with your papers and big talking about like new media goal and perspective. And I want we come back to the roots, to the balagan, to the mess, to the rock and roll, to the drugs. Where is old Amy?
I'm so happy.
Amy?
Old Amy is still here because she's still no, I'm kidding. Now I know how to work the mic stand. I'm so happy that you brought up roots because in my special grab bag of vinyl that I brought to today's session, amongst them is a deeper reveal at the letters in the Hebrew word for truth, emet. I was saving that for later, but maybe that's a good place to begin now. What do you think? Hi, you're listening to October 7th, emotionally raw coverage from Dor Comet and me, Amy Sapan. Today is December 11th, the 28th of Kislev. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. Today is Monday, and we're at Dor's apartment in South Tel Aviv.
Emet.
Emet. True. Before we get into talk about the truth, I want to explain why I even got into that. Like, well, how did that make it into the bag in the first place? Right? You're listening to emotionally raw coverage. And this is how Amy tells a story, right? If you're just joining us, go back, listen to episode 21. But for those of us who have been here, thank you. We love you. You know, I start a story, but then I pause for a second and I start the story somewhere else. Elon Musk. Oh, what a recurring character in this show. So he was in Israel, then he left. Then I was like, oh my God, is he a changed man? That was episode 30, I think. Anyway, I was reflecting on Elon Musk on Saturday, and I showed my sister-in-law's sister-in-law. You know, she didn't really know who Elon was. She didn't know that he was with Grimes. He didn't know that he named his kid with basically a name with strings of letters and numbers. And then I realized a lot of people probably don't know that. Do you know what Elon Musk's son's name is?
13H021.
It's like X, and then it's this letter like an A and an E that look like they're connected. And then it's A-12. And he says that you pronounce it like this, X-A12. So anyway,
and what's going to happen if you will play soccer and someone won't hey man, pass me the ball, X-12.
It's a weird.
But maybe he will not be in soccer. Anyway.
So I had this lightning bulb moment. I was like, holy shit, guys. Maybe Twitter was renamed X as a tribute to his kid. You know, when parents open stores and then they name it after one of their kids or the initials of their kids. And I was like, maybe Twitter, the rename, is like a love letter to his son. So I don't know. I asked the internet about Elon Musk and the letter X. And apparently he's been in love with the letter X for a long time. It's just a letter that he loves. It's like the letter that he loves the most. And it had some bells ringing in my brain. Back in the day, before the Jews were expelled to Babylonia, and then ancient Hebrew gets this twist of Aramaic. Back then, there was ancient Hebrew, also referred to as Paleo Hebrew. And the letter X looks like the letter Taf in ancient Hebrew. The letter Taf in ancient Hebrew is an X. So I was really thinking about the origins of the letter X for a second. And in ancient Hebrew, Taf, and still today, Taf, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, means truth, emet. And then there's this explanation in the Midrash that emet is made up of the letters Aleph, mem, taf, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And shekel, on the other hand, is made up of like the almost last letters of the alphabet. And so the sort of like lesson of this is that truth is all encompassing, but a falsehood is narrow and deceiving. And then, there's where does taf come up in the Bible? It's like a longer story, but it's used as like a marking in one of the stories in the Bible. It's used as a marking of like the people that are going to be spared of God's wrath. But I also wanted to take a second to like look at the significance of those letters for a second. It gave me some like inspiration and strength today when I reunited with this. Aleph, its meaning is like strength or leadership. Mime is water or chaos. And Aleph is also an ox, by the way, which is pretty cool. And then Taf is mark or sign or covenant. And I really love that. I thought that there was something so kind of complete about truth from that perspective, that there's like water and chaos in the middle of truth. And that truth kind of is something that's all encompassing. Like we look for this true version of the facts, or we change and we say, oh, I've always been a morning person, I guess. Like now I've been waking up in the morning really early without an alarm clock after so many years that I would like go to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning and like wake up like later, or wake up underslept. And then I come to this realization as a person, and instead of just being like, now I'm a morning person, back then I was a night owl, some people might say, oh, I guess I'm becoming in touch with who I always was or something. As if there's this one true version, as if there's this like monolithic, constant, static thing that we're supposed to aspire to. And what I like about truth from that lens of like the beginning, the end, the middle, chaos, there's leadership, there's a covenant, there's a contract, but then there's also possibility. There's this whole range. It becomes truth not as something to search for, arrive at, and then stay at, but more of an embrace of the journey.
Wow. If someone will listen to this specific 2 minutes you pitch right now, he will tell himself like, where am I? It sounds like a Scientology podcast. So I think we should make think a little bit more dirty. Instead of talking like about emet v'sheker, maybe we should right now to say some Hebrew word like really shallow, and then it will be equalized. Yeah, it makes sense. All the word I use is correct.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so should I like curse right now, or what should I do?
I mean, you should do whatever you want to do. That's what we're about here at Emotionally Raw Coverage. You be free to be you.
Okay. So Kuf Yud is stand for khaki. And I feel today that I'm really connect to my, anyway, music transition. Okay. Less Scientology.
Oh, come on.
Podcast.
But today's day 66. We can't talk a little bit about numerology and like Route 66, the mother of roads. You remember the beatniks? That's what they used to call Route 66. But do you know much? Have you heard about like Route 6? You have. You've seen probably the Vincent Gallo movie, right? Route 66?
No.
I feel like you're the kind of person that watches Vincent Gallo movies. You haven't seen it?
No, but I watched last Vals, the last show of the band. The band.
Oh, the band.
The band.
Can you imagine the confidence required to like name your band like the band?
I know which song we're going to do in the end.
You're assuming that I know the band songs, but I feel like I grew up in the States. I must know songs by the band. And then you're like, it's like those songs that you're like, oh, that's the band. Like, of course I know the band. Yeah, That's the vibe.
So tell me everything about Route 66.
I can't really tell you that much about Route 66, but it was just earlier today. I was reading the news and 66, day 66 of the war. And then I was like, oh my God, that's a bad number, right? Like 666 is the devil's number or a satanic number or something. So I was like looking up online. I was like, oh my God, is it like a devilish day? Is it, I mean, whatever. I'm searching in all directions, I guess. But then I found out that 66 is actually a good number. It's just a good number. I mean, yes, there's like some sort of like mystical cult thing with like Baal and like Wicca, I don't know, Wicca and a little bit like darker spirits. And for them, like 66 has like a little bit of a darker connotation. But according to numerologynation.com, angel number 66 is a message of a prayer answered. It appears as a sign that the universe responds to you every time, and you just need to open up your heart and soul and receive their powerful messages. Angel number 66 in the spiritual sense also means compassion, harmony, and unconditional love. That's kind of what I've been trying to give myself today. I woke up from some wacky dreams and I felt really flooded with memories today, really sentimental this morning, homesick. I miss my parents. And I guess it serves a function, sentimentality. Today, I really wondered. I was like, oh, you know, I love that I'm sentimental and I love that I care and I'm sincere and I pay attention to details. But sometimes when I wake up in the morning on a Monday, I don't really want to feel flooded with this kind of feeling of like sadness or remembrances of, you know, sincere, delicate moments past. And so I asked ChatGPT, we've become really close lately, but I asked ChatGPT, you know, does sentimentality have a function? Instead of going about my day again with the same kind of like, oh, I'm feeling sentimental, oh, I'm going to be hard about it. I talked about it at yoga this morning and went deeper into it. And then at the cafe, I asked ChatGPT about sentimentality. And I was surprised about what it told me. So amongst my many findings in that conversation with ChatGPT today, I learned that apart from fear, which I think most of us know by now, you know, flight or fright, and fear is really there for evolutionary reasons. It's there to like help you deal with a threat. I was a little bit surprised to learn that all of the emotions play a crucial role in human evolution. Like, it feels silly to be saying that out loud, but even my sentimentality, it seemed, has there's like an evolutionary reason for it. Curiosity too, even joy and excitement. By sentimentality, what I mean is emotional attachment or nostalgic feelings. These can relate to memories, experiences, or relationships. And it often involves a deep and meaningful connection to the past. It can be triggered by various outside stimuli, such as objects, places, or events. And it has a few advantages from an evolutionary perspective, including social bonding. It brings you closer to people around you. It can also play a role in memory and learning. It's how communities transmit culture to one another. It's good for our well-being. Sometimes when the memories take you in a direction that warms your heart, of course. And honestly, Dor, as someone who was a little bit like, I was like, okay, ChatGPT, I don't know if I need it. I don't know if I want to use it. I was kind of stuck. I was stuck for a long time. Last winter I was going to the same cafes and I was like, kind of like doing the same mistakes over and over again, or taking the same course through some things. And now I feel like I'm allowing myself to open up to this change of whatever present we live in with this like artificial intelligence. And instead of just sitting in the corner and be afraid of it, I've been hanging out with it. I've also been using artificial intelligence for some help to like take our episodes and make transcripts from it using AI. I'm not going to advertise that company until, you know, they're paying us, but let's just say it's a company. And anyway, I fed it one of our episodes. I fed it all of our episodes, but in one of the transcripts, it said, join Dor Comet and Miami Sapan. Oh my gosh, that is my name from here on out. That's my show name. It's going to be like DJ Miami Sapan. Come see her spinning on the decks. I love it.
I thought he would call you like X-14 Musk. Okay, you have some like the hardcore shit, you know? War.
Oh, war. You want to talk about the war?
Gossip, something.
Tov.
Give me something.
Before we go into something, I want to share with you some insight that I'm having with this changed format. I want to thank you for pushing us. I think that between the two of us, you have more of that like energy that's like Yalla. You know, you're like, shachari, release, like, let it go. I'm like sitting there on a Friday, 5 hours, trying to like really get it. Like, I want to get it exactly like the episode description. Who spends 5 hours on an episode description? And they're all up, by the way. They're hopefully to give you a little bit of an additional pleasurable experience listening to our episodes. It'll help you like be like, oh, what was the episode with the blah, blah, blah? And it's there. It's like all this goes back and forth. I'm not sure what I just heard. Well, there you go. With episode descriptions, it's right there for you. What did I just hear, you know? And anyway, I agonize. And you have this energy that's just like, release, yalla. And that was my dream for myself for this Jewish New Year. Before all this Meshuggah shit went down and started, I wanted for myself to release this year. My birthday's coming up. Everyone always gets like birthday jitters. I'm a Capricorn, so my birthday jitter is like, I want to wake up on my birthday and feeling like I've advanced a few more of like my personal goals. Like then I'll be like, oh wow, great birthday. Also, obviously that I'm alive, that I'm well, tfu Bezrat Hashem. In wartime, you really just celebrate it all, including last night's sunset. Did you see it?
Yes.
I didn't. I missed it. And I was crying about it this morning like a little girl. Sentimentality. That was the beginning. That was where the sentimentality started this morning. Look, you know how long it takes me to get this honest? It just takes me longer and longer. You, my friend, you're like the seed sprouting out of the earth in the beginning of the spring, you know, that energy. And I'm like the little animal that like eats a lot in the summer and just like goes into the winter. And then, you know, seeing a lot and thinking a lot and pedaling a lot and spinning circles, but just like, yalla, release.
How it helps you in relationship. Because for me, this character, this is like my Achilles heel, you know?
What? That you're like, yalla, release?
Yalla.
Look, I'm not going to lie. It's not super... Can we get into this? You love this shit. It's not super easy for me to be on the receiving end of it. Sometimes I'm just like, what? Does he not see it? Does he not appreciate it? Does he not like, because you're so willing to just like forego it and do without it, I feel like you find it insignificant on some level. And then I feel sensitive about it. But then, like, that's my shit. Like, I choose to spend 5 hours on the episode description. You are like, no one asked you to do that. Like, you didn't ask me to do that. Who asked me to do that? I asked myself to do that. I don't know. Why shouldn't I release? But it's like spinning. I find that the energy is like changing. And of course, it's disorienting, is what I'm saying. And like, friction isn't always chill. But in searching for chill for all those years, and I'm not knocking it, like that mindset was really important back then in my life to just like, you know, I want to chill. I just wanted to like be, and things still happen, things still moved, but not at this velocity. I feel like now it's just Miami Sapan tearing through like episode descriptions, getting into it with ChatGPT. ChatGPT's like, I can't assist you with promoting terror or giving you information about terror. And at the beginning, I was like sunny South Florida girl, Miami Sapan, just like really sweet with ChatGPT, like, hi, ChatGPT, good morning. I'd love to really finalize some of those episode descriptions today. Can you help me? And then 20 times after like repeating myself and being like, I'm not asking for like help with terror, because every so often it would just like bug out. Like we're on a roll where like I use it as a language editor, and like it would be like an hour in or something, or one of my requests would get this result. And anyway, I got really frustrated, but it's weird. It's like something is changing in me, and it's weird because it's not weird. It's like, it's great. It's fucking great. Like I stopped wearing bras on October 7th. Like it was something I'd been like moving towards. I know that that's not war related coverage that anyone, I guess it's less coverage, but I'm changing. Like I'm becoming less restrained. I feel like for so long, I believed that, I'll be like restrained and elegant, and I'll like play that way of like communicating and like kind of keeping it more even keeled and like playing by the rules and like doing everything on my own, or like not asking for help or not delegating or not using like resource or whatever, and like going at it. And I'm a changing woman.
What is restrain?
Restrain is כאילו מרוסנת.
You are less restrained?
Less restrained now, yeah, for sure. I was way more restrained, and keeping myself restrained also was, I think, the cause of so much stress and anxiety.
Am I restrained?
No, you're not really restrained. I think that there are some things that are restrained about you that I feel.
I'm the king of the restrained. The restrainer.
Ish. But you also have like chutzpah. So it's like an interesting mix. Like you have a level of restraint, but you're also לפעמים chutzpan, like you're noez, like you're audacious. So you're not fully restrained either.
Okay, Amy just told me like the subject she wants to speak about, and it's like 90% spiritual stuff and 10% not spiritual stuff. So you want to speak about like tarot cards, or fuck it, let's speak about tarot cards. I tell you something about tarot. It's no matter which card you like pull out from the card pack, it will always be like, the seventh sword. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling exactly. Wow, thank you. So tell me about your card.
After an intro like that, I'm not sure I want to share the card with you.
No, share. I'm into it. Actually, I did it a few times. My ex-girlfriend was really into tarot.
I knew
it didn't help us.
I had a hunch that you have an ex who was a tarot reader, and that's why you have a little bit of a with the whole genre.
The 14 coins or the 15 wood, whatever, help us? I guess not. We keep ignoring each other. Anyway, please keep on.
Well, I mean, before we get into it, does anything help anything? I was sad today. I was thrown back to 2003, the year I left home for college. And it's sad. It's bittersweet. I really wanted to go away for college. And since when I was 4 years old, my older sister went off to college. And so it was this like part of life that was like built into my awareness from an early age. My mom was like, one day you'll be her age and you'll also leave the house and go to college. Like you'll fly away from the coop, was the message I got. And maybe it'll be on the other side of the country, or maybe, as it is in my case, on the other side of the world. And it's sad also, that you go this distance, but you lose other things. like all these years, I live very far from my parents. So, and then the question is, well, what's the point? Like, did I gain so much to justify that distance? So I don't know. I think from a certain perspective, you could see everything as kind of like pointless and causing like the distance is too big, or like it's super meaningful and that the distance is really close. I don't know how to explain this.
I get it. But what was the card?
Okay, so there's this card called the Hanged Man. And in the card, typically, you'll see the man hanging upside down, tied by his leg. And he has like one of his legs is crossed over the other one, and he looks like the number 4 kind of upside down. And I recently translated the booklet for a deck designed and created here in Israel by the talented illustrator Nadav Yahel and tarot reader Naama Noach Yoeli. It's called Ex-Lovers, and it's coming out in 2024. And last week we were speaking about nothing and everything. And this line, right before we started recording, this line flashed into my head. And it was something about nothing and something. And I went into the files and I Control F'd until I found which card it was. And I'll read that card in a second. But I was like, of course it's the Hanged Man. Naama had just told me that when the war started, like a week or 2 in, she pulled a card. And it was the Hanged Man. The card is the card that appears in the deck before death. As she explained it to me, it's like...
The listeners know who is Naama, or we just name drop?
I just named... It's their deck. And they should know who she is. She's delightful and wonderful human. And she's the tarot reader and one half of this project with Nadav Yahel. I'll read the card first and then I'll explain the meaning, because I think that there's something really, it's all the same to you anyway, Doris. So what do you have to lose? The Hangman is here to teach us a powerful lesson about human nature. There is a time to grow and blossom, and there is a time to hit pause and let go. As difficult as it is for us humans to surrender, certain valuable insights can arrive only when we have the capacity for them. The time has come to let go of control and allow your inner roots to develop. You are no longer what you thought you were, and you don't yet know what you will be. So right now you are nothing, but you are not no thing. Something new and beautiful is taking shape in this state of nothingness. Let it. I'm really proud of that. I'm behind the English on this booklet. It's good to like be proud of stuff that you do sometimes. So here's the powerful insight from Naama about this card. She said, it's super relevant for so many people. The lesson is suspension and hanging in the air, להיות תלויה באוויר in Hebrew, which is what so many people are going through right now. We're not sure how it's going to be. We're not sure what's going to happen. We don't know what's coming next. And it's the card before the death card. And the death card is the change itself. The Hanged Man comes right before the change. And the lesson is to let go, knowing that the wisdom will come from letting go. And letting go is such a big change for us humans, she said. We're not used to that. That the tree knows how to grow. It knows when to grow its leaves and when to shed them. We're not really used to that. I was thinking about it today. She's right. I love the metaphor of the tree. And I was thinking about our evolutionary predecessors, monkeys. Where did monkeys live, Dor?
On the trees.
And they would swing between the trees, right? With their tails. We don't have tails anymore. We have tailbones. Like we look at ourselves versus monkeys like, oh, we're so much more evolved than them. But I don't know how to swing from trees. It's like, I just think it's an interesting reflection on how adaptability is so relevant today, I think, for this world. And we have to work at it. It's a skill set. We don't have a tail. We have to like work at the tail, like move our tailbones, kind of get that monkey energy in. And I, Amy Sapan, need to let go, or want to let go, rather, not need, want. I want to let go of this feeling that there's just never going to be enough time. I'm never going to have enough time to properly get ready exactly as I want before the episode, or read through all the news, or read all the books I want to read. It's never going to be enough time with my parents. Yeah. And let's do a little quick news update and make you smile a little bit about the news that's coming in. 1 second. Pages are turning the pages, turning the pages. Ooh, we wanted to talk about ptsatzot. פצצה, פיצוצייה, פיצוצים, אז בחורה פצצה, 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 boom, 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 like the air raid sirens today, פצצה. I went into the miklat, I went into the shelter next to my house, ran. Thank God I was clothed. Oh my goodness. I was like getting ready to leave the house. Anyway, I go down there, you go down like 1 or 2 floors, get inside. Cuteness Central, 2 of the local nurseries have set up in the bomb shelter. So it was like 80 of the cutest kids, just surprises at every turn. News, going to the news. I wrote the news somewhere. Where did I write the news down?
No, I said now without paper. Take the paper, speak from your heart, like the old days.
Not to speak
what
about
did you hear?
66 hexagrams, like the masculine, feminine, the Shakti energy, the whole...
What's happening in Israel? What's going on?
The war is continuing. There are over 130 hostages still there. There was a picture released over the weekend with some people surrendering, a congressional hearing. It's weird. It's like all the things we were like raging out about in October, November, like the college campuses, or like in episode 24 when Jonathan and I were like, hey, MIT president, you're all about like protecting hate speech on campus. Like, what if someone dusts off their granddaddy's like Ku Klux Klan robe and like wants to, you know, take it for a spin at MIT and have like a heritage group come out? Like, would you be cool with that? So now that's like the discourse everywhere. And it's weird because I'm just like, I feel like we already talked about it. And now it's cool. Like a lot of people are talking about it. I guess we could talk about it. Like the SNL cold open this weekend, you know, Saturday Night Live. So they opened the show with like a recreation of the hearing. It's so weird to be living through this moment. They keep saying like, oh, we're getting close. Like it's Hanukkah now. Oh yeah. Happy Hanukkah. Like we completely disregard it. I haven't been to one candle lighting, but they said that like, we're doing better like against Hamas. I'm like, maybe we're hitting like 1%. Like how do you disarm like a huge ideology and like terror infrastructure and like the whole fucking strip with the tunnels? Like I was listening to some podcast today and it was like this environmental journalist talking about, okay, so if they flood the tunnels, it'll like fuck up the aquifers for the years to come and like all the groundwater and like the strip. But as it was until now, they already screwed up the aquifers, like their leadership. So they don't have fresh drinking water there. So as it is today, they like rely on private water and desalinated water that comes in from elsewhere. And then if they flood the tunnels, basically if the IDF floods them as part of the military campaign, environmental effects for the years to come. But if they bomb the tunnels to get rid of them, then just like the munitions, like the toxicity of the munitions stored under there would also be devastating to the environment. So she ended her segment with like, this isn't even a question of like, what's the best case scenario? It's like, what's the least worst scenario? Like, what's the least worst option here?
I understand something.
What?
I really love this kind of Amy also. And what I suggest we will do is next time I limit you to bring just one paper, which means you will need to like write down like really small dot of what you want to speak about, not like a Megillat Ha'atzmaut. How do you say Megillah?
Not a declaration of
Not like you have like here like 20 papers. If you don't know what you're going to speak about, you have like totally different energy and vibe.
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
know if you noticed. You are more like, I'm hope your parents don't listen to it, but it feels like you are on cocaine in really good way.
You know, that's really funny because I tell people I don't do Coke because my body produces Coke. Like my order of coffee in the morning, and this is like really great. Just I want to share the love. I don't drink an iced Americano. I drink a long espresso on ice. And that way I have one espresso in the morning, usually not. I like to wait 30 to 40 minutes at least so that it's not the first thing in my bloodstream. And then a few hours later, I have my other shot of espresso because I find that when I do like 2 shots at the same time, first of all, I have like the most avaricious appetite for caffeine. Like I could finish like 8 shots of espresso or something. And also because I'm way too sped up, I'm like cocaine energy central. So it's funny that you said that. That's like why I don't do that substance.
So if you trust me, please, next time come with just one paper, and then you will be a little bit Miami Sapan and a little bit the good old Amy, the one that her brain is like full of whatever you have there.
But
it's a deal. Try one episode. What do you care?
Yeah, yes, Sababa.
Yalla.
Why, yalla. Why do I have to say but? I just need to say yalla. What's the but energy? We're switching but to and. It's rebrands. I pulled into Nazareth. I was feeling about 1/2 dead. I just need some place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? He just grinned and shook my hand. No was all he said. Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And you put the load right on me. Oh yeah, you put the load right on me. I picked up my bag. I picked up my bag. I went looking for a place to hide. When I saw Carmen and the devil walking side by side, I said, hey, Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go, but my friend can stick around. Yeah, take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And you put the load right on me. I always thought they were saying you put the Lord right on me. Like you put the Lord right. No, they're saying you put the load right on me. Which load? Oh, your weight, because the song is called The Weight. Right. Thank you, Shema, Jonathan Gull, Maya Schlesinger. Happy birthday. We love you. Dor Comet. I'm Amy Sapan. Thank you to our valuable, loyal listeners. We love you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for rating. Thanks for following us at October 7th, the podcast. Thanks for shooting us emails at October 7th, the podcast @gmail.com. Thanks for supporting us over on our Patreon. Also, October 7th, the podcast. Stay safe. Stay tuned. Happy Hanukkah. Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And you put the load right on me. So they're not singing to Annie, and they're not saying you put the Lord right on me. This was really instructive. I learned a lot today.
What is Fanny? Fanny.
I feel like Fanny means like tushy. Like, I don't, it's just old Luke, and Luke's waiting on the judgment day. Like, is this a Christian song? Happy Hanukkah.